Hi everyone, it's Nathara, and today I'm going to be going over the rerun Lightchase Guardian Cutie. In it, you get the 5-star suit Rolling Bamboo, which is super cute, and they've updated the dye slots for it. I love this little hair piece, it's adorable. And this was like our first ever pair of shoes like this. And we only had this for the longest time. This umbrella's cute, and this was like our first loose sleeves, but the dye options weren't all that great, but they're better now. And we get the set Bunny Whisper. I know a lot of people don't like this hair, but I love this hair. I think it's so cute. And of course this dress is adorable, and it's also gotten a lot of dye updates as well. Super cute. I love all the accessories. These ears are a touch hard for me to work with personally because I will show you later, but they have an effect to them. I do love this basket. I wish we could dye the bunny though, that would be so cute. And the socks are adorable. They remind me of the Kuromi socks that we got. And this 4-star suit is so pretty. I love these shoes. Like, these are gorgeous. We got a little beret and some gloves and some earrings. For our loose 6-star pieces, we get this hat, which is just like the perfect sun hat, this tiny little bag, and these slippers. I actually use these a lot. For our loose 5-star pieces, we get the handheld sugar rabbit, the earrings dark kitten, the big necklace bear cookie. Kind of reminds me of like those grandma necklaces, like their little grandchild, you know, made them a macaroni and cookie necklace or something like that. And these little shoes. And for our makeup, we get these bright green contacts, these rose constel contacts, and I use these an insane amount. It's probably one of my favorite pair of contacts in the game. We get this lipstick, another lipstick elf kiss, and 2 facial paints, 1,000 threads, and dragon growl. For our ally, you do get Larry's Siege Knight, and in decom you get the hair Breezy Years, the little dress Starry Night. I already have mine dyed. And this little rainbow, which is kind of hard to see, and it does only have 1 dye slot sadly, which I will go over later. And for our items, you have the opportunity to get the standstill pose Breezy Talk, which I got, and the avatar frame Fairyland Party, and also the dynamic pose Bamboo Song, which is cute, but it's just like so expensive. And if I had to pick between one of the clothing items or this little pose, I was gonna pick one of the clothing items. So here's Larry's Unevolved Siege Knight card. It was like the first time we got one of these cards, I think, where they're starting to get beat up. I mean, they do it all the time now. The boys are like always like chained and tied up and just bloody, you know. And the evolved version, there is no big pick for SR cards. Usually that's reserved for SSRs. And for your evolve item, you get these 2 little bows, which I will showcase now. They are just 2 little head bows, and you do only get 1 dye slot, but with the customized accessory you do get all the options, so you can like resize them now and rotate them however you wish. So you can make like big ponytail bows up top, you could have like a little Minnie Mouse bow if you want to cosplay Minnie Mouse. But yeah, and then your positions, you do have these ones right here. I would definitely move that back to be with the bow, or you can just have it off and have only one, so that's really nice. And here's our set Rolling Bamboo. I did already dye it. She's one of the ones that I have fully unlocked. Now, even with the updated dye system, there are a few things that you still cannot dye, like a couple of the green gems. You also can't dye like this little, the umbrella stick thing that keeps it from coming down. The tattoo, obviously. There's a bit on the earring right there. And then on the shoes, I believe, yes. On the shoes, there's the pearls and the bit of decoration on the socks and shoes. And I do believe that is the same, yes, on the glove. But they did update this, so it is more versatile now than it used to be. So I'm happy with it. Maybe they'll come around and do another round of dye updates on it. And here she is in all white to help you see those overlay dye areas a little bit more, since they are starting to incorporate those more than just true dye slots. But for your hair, you get 2 dye slots. The first is going to be the top of the hair, and the second is going to be your ombre. For your dress, you do get 9 dye slots. The first is going to be the underlayer right here, The second is going to be that overlayer and the little belt that comes around. Your third is the floof. And she does have a little tail back here. Our fourth is the belt that goes around the waist. Our fifth is the lining on those pleats. Or not pleats, I guess. I don't know what to call those. Our sixth is the overlay dye for the bamboo leaves on the dress. So if you're looking close, there is multiple different tones. There's like a built-in ombre to it almost. 7 is the jewels and everything, and I do believe, what is this? Oh, okay. I was looking at it at a weird angle. It is a little panda thing in like a cocoon. I did not know what it was at first. So I work in a library and I teach on like STEM nights. And so we were dissecting owl pellets the other night, and I kind of, my mind just went straight to that's an owl pellet. I know, super weird, but that's just what I thought. Number 8 is the beadwork and metalwork. And number 9 is the last round of beadwork. For our sleeves, you do get 3 dye slots. The first is going to be the little band right here. The second is going to be the sleeve part. And the third is the overlay dye on the bamboo pieces, and this you used to not be able to dye at all. It used to always look like this, and it was really hard to incorporate these sleeves into other outfits, so I'm super happy they decided to give us this as a dye slot, though it is only an overlay dye slot. So if you're doing anything besides black, you're going to be able to see all of the like details. For our shoes, you get 4 dye slots. The first is going to be the bulk of the shoe, like that little overlay part or the boot sock part. The second is going to be the shoe itself. The third is your floof. The fourth is the lining on the front of the shoe. For our hat piece, you do get 2 dye slots. You get the ears and 1 pom-pom, and on the second dye slot you get the last pom-pom. For our earrings, you get 3 dye slots. The first is going to be the metalwork. The second is that lower leaf and the pearl. And the third is the rest of the beadwork. For our necklace, some of those beads do have a bit of like an overlay dye to them and not a true dye. The first one is going to be the metalwork. The third is going to be the beads and a couple of those like bamboo link pieces. And the third is going to be the rest of the beadwork and bamboo pieces. For our gloves, you get 3 dye slots. The first is going to be the right hand portion, and it's going to be the ombre on the left side. The second is that other piece of the ombre and the other piece of the leather on the other glove. And together that ombre looks like this. Really nice. And our third slot is going to be the overlay on the edging and like the glitter and stuff on both ones. Well, actually, I think it's the metalwork on this one. Yeah. And for our handheld umbrella, this one is one of the ones that got updated. The first dye slot is going to be half of the umbrella. The second is going to be the outer portions. The third is going to be the bamboo bones of the umbrella. The fourth is going to be the wiring between the bones. And this used to be undyeable. From what I remember, the leaves were always just a green. I think it was like more like a brighter green, but you can dye those leaves now, and you can dye these sparkles now. So the leaves and the sparkles do have 2 different dye slots for each other, which I really like. And for our socks, you do get 3 dye slots. The first is going to be the ombre on the right side and then the base color on the left. The second is going to be the leather strap right here on top of both socks. And the third is going to be that ombre on the right side. So together they look like this, which I think is really pretty. But overall, this suit is super cute and I have loved it since it first came out. It's adorable. And here's the dress without the sleeves in case you were curious. And these sleeves do have the effect where they will cut off the dresses that typically allow you to have these sleeves cut off sleeves, you know what I'm saying? I probably worded that like atrociously, but yeah, they do work like that, so that is a bonus. here's our bunny whisper dress. I do have mine, I had both of mine dyed black and white. Those, I just typically gravitate towards black and white and with like gold accents. If you've seen any of my stylings, you already know that though. Alright, and here is Bunny Whisper dyed fully black. So definitely a lot more undyeable areas with this one. I think every single piece has a spot that you can't dye. And here she is in all white, so you can see those overlay areas that will be there regardless of what you put over it. So it'll be kind of a fight. It does have all the eggs on it, so it would pair nicely with that egg thing that we just got, but I don't recommend getting that because the dye options for it kind of are atrocious. So, but I mean, it would go with this, and I think even on the display for the egg, they put it with this dress, which makes total sense. They either put it with this one or they chose the Sanrio dresses. They love to use those dresses as display items. Alright, for our hair, the first dye slot is going to be the top half, and the second is your little tails. Again, super cute, and a note, there is a ribbon in the back. I kind of wish the ribbon had its own dye slot, but maybe one day. For our dress, our first dye slot is going to be your lace and kind of like that under sheer part that's like tulle almost. It's very silky shiny. Our second is going to be the base of the dress. Our third is going to be the first part of the bloomers and the lining and the backing of the heart. And the bow right here, you can choose the main color of that, but it does have a lot of kind of like that holographic look to it. Your fourth is going to be like all of the little eggs and tulips around the edge of the dress. Your fifth is more of those tulips and flowers. Your sixth is going to be the underskirt, the grass part. Very neon. I actually kind of like that. Sorry, I was playing around. Let me see. I like it better with the white. Makes it a little brighter. But you have those dang eggs in there, my goodness. Number 7 is going to be the little dots and all the little flowers and even the little bunnies right here. Your 8th is going to be the lace that lines the bottom of the dress. Your 9th is that other piece of the bloomers. So together, the 3rd and 9th dye the bloomers. Again, I don't like how far apart those are. They should be next to each other. Your 10th is the little fuzzballs and everything on the back right here in the bouquet. Your 11th is the glitter on the bloomers, which is so nice. Your 12th is part of the butterflies and glitter. Your 13th is part of the butterflies and glitter. And your 14th is butterflies and glitter. So you can have 13, 14, and 12 be 3 different colors. I typically have the dress dyed one solid color, and because this has the oil slick thing to it, I try to choose colors that match that ribbon. For our socks, your first dye slot is going to be the base layer and some of the decor. The second is going to be some of the ribbons. Actually, I think it's most of the ribbons, like the tiny little decor ribbons. And your third is going to be those bunny faces up top. For our shoes, your first dye slot is going to be the base of the shoe. Your second is going to be the fluffy bunny, the tail, and the ribbon. Your third is going to be the back ribbon. Back bow, I mean. And your fourth is going to be the back ribbon with the crystal heart and then the ribbons on the side and the inside of the bunny. For your ears, this is one of the problems I have with this one. These ears have like a glow effect built into them, so it is hard to get them to look black like everything else unless you're going to starlight it. Actually, so I just unlocked all the palettes for it to check if starlight would work, and even with starlight, it does not get super black. Your second dye slot is the bow on the front. Your third is the flowers. And your fourth are the tiny little bows that decorate within it. For our little hair pieces, you do get 3 dye slots. The first is going to be the little flowers. The second is going to be the little ribbon that goes in. And your third is going to be the other piece of ribbon. So you can have 2 ribbons dipping in and out. I kind of wish they would have just made the ribbon one piece and then let us dye the pearls on the other. That would have been nice. For our earrings, the first dye slot is going to be the bow and the crystal. The second is going to be the bigger crystal and some of the small flowers. And your third is going to be the other flowers. For our necklace, your first dye slot is going to be the main string of beads. Your second is going to be the flowers. Your third is going to be the ribbon, the first one. And your fourth is going to be that second ribbon. For your handheld, you do get 11 dye slots. Your first is going to be the ribbon right here and the flowers. Your second is going to be the bucket. Your third is going to be the handle. Your fourth is going to be the decoration on the front of the bucket, like the egg that's on it. Your fifth is going to be some of the flowers and the edging on the decor. Your sixth is going to be the other flowers and the center of the flowers on the bucket. Your seventh is going to be the grass stalks. Your eighth is going to be the polka dots, pearls, and lace, and the ombre on the flowers. So here's that ombre to show you a little bit what it looks like. Your ninth is the egg and the ribbon for the Vana. Your 10th is the Vana. And your 11th is the light particles. Overall, this suit is a bit harder for me to work with personally. It is very, very Eastery and super flower girl, and just the dye slots, how they're overlay dye slots, does make it just difficult for me to deal with because I like to have full customability with my pieces, and you just don't get that with this. And if you switch out the hair accessory turns into little kind of like just pieces that stick in your hair. They're little side pieces. And I did just kind of scale up the bunny ears a little bit, and I think I like this size on them a little bit better. I think that's cute, though they are like super bright. I don't know why they have a built-in halo effect. Like, well, I guess no, because even the dandelions on the back don't look like they have a halo built in. I don't know why they did that with the ears. And here's Soft Smoke, dyed fully black. The only thing you cannot deal with is the glitter on the gloves. They do have kind of like an orangey tint to them. But everything else is customizable. For your dress, you do get 4 dye slots. The first is going to be the top ombre. The second is going to be that bottom ombre. And together they look like this. A really nice one. And I do like these little side pieces right here. It's a really nice touch. The third is going to be the glitter in the sheer tool down here, as well as your little applique pieces up here. And your fourth is going to be the tulle collar and the gems. For your shoes, the first is going to be the gems, the second is going to be the heel, and the third is going to be the metalwork and the base of the shoe. I kind of wish, you know, as always, that the metalwork and cloth were not tied together in the same dye slot. For our beret, we do get 2 dye slots, the base and the edging and the applique, which is a spider lily, super cute. That's like my favorite flower ever. For our earrings, you get 3 dye slots. The first is going to be these tiny little crystals right here. The second is going to be these spider lily designs. And the third is going to be the hoop, or the half hoop. That's a really big backing. For your gloves, you get 2 dye slots. The first is going to be the base of the glove, and the second is going to be those spider lilies. Another one of those great 4-star suits. Alright, and here's our loose 6-star hat, Flora's heart. This is actually one of the few pieces I bit the bullet on and unlocked the veins for so I could get access to the black. And here it is dyed all black, so the only thing you cannot work with is the glitter on the ribbon, but the first dye slot is going to be the base of the hat. The second is going to be the rose and the ribbon. The third is the vines on the rose. And the fourth is the pearls and gems inside of the rose. A super cute little sun hat, and I still hold it dear in my heart to this day. It's adorable. And here's Meow Workshop. I have not touched it since I got it, which was like, what, nearly 2 years ago now? Here it is fully black. So I mean, it is super customizable. Not super customizable, it only has 3 dye slots. Let's not get ahead of myself. It is cute though, but it's so small, and it's a 6-star, so it's what is it, 18 veins. 18 veins to unlock, and that's just too much for a piece I would never use. But your first dye slot is going to be the leather base, the second is the pearls and the other piece of the leather, and the third is the ruffles and the metalwork and these cute little paw prints. It's adorable, but it's just so small. Alright, and here is our 6-star shoes, Fuzzy Pearls. I never unlocked this one because they gave us black and white for free, and I would never have these dyed red or gold because I just don't think that matches anything I would do. So black and white is good for me, and I think I had the brown unlocked for like a cat outfit once upon a time. But they can fully dye, you just can't dye the glitter. And your first dye slot is the base, and the second is the floof, the pearls, and the lining. A very cute little slipper. And here's our loose 5-star handheld Sugar Rabbit. It has 2 dye slots, the first being the little fan part itself, and the second being the stick. And here are our loose 5-star earrings, Dark Kitten. Again, they give us black and white for free, so I never felt the need to go beyond and unlock it. But your first dye slot is going to be the little cat face and the metalwork, and your second is going to be the base of the cat. So they are not fully dyeable. You do have the 1 crystal in the earring that you cannot dye. And here is the 5-star necklace, Bear Cookie. It is fully dyeable. And your first dye slot is going to be the rope, your second is the little bears, and your third is the beads. I use this in like a junkyard cosplay. I'll put pictures up really quick, but I kind of felt like it fit I found this in a kind of like a dystopian junkyard. That's what the theme was. So I kind of like, she just found this and she's like, yeah, that's great, I'll take it. And here's our Dreamboat stiletto shoes. She is nearly on her toes with these shoes. They are super high up. My feet hurt just looking at them. But your first dye slot is the base of the heel. Your second is the underside, so you can be fancy. Your third is all of the crystals and the metalwork. And your fourth is the kind of like little decor piece that wraps around. Alright, and for our decom, here is Breezy Years. It only has 1 dye slot. It's a cute one. And like I said, I wanted the pose, but if I could get either this or the pose, I was going to get the hair item, because I see myself using the hair more than I would use that dynamic pose. And here's the dress. I do already have it dyed, as you saw. Here it is, all black, so it is customizable. Your first is going to be the base of the dress, your second is going to be the bow, your third is going to be the little bow, and your fourth is going to be the metalwork and crystals. And here is your rainbow wish. It is in the bag category, and to see it better, I have changed my scene to black. Like I said before, it does only have 1 dye slot. You can only dye the shooting stars and falling stars off of it, so you can dye it black to get rid of those and just have the rainbow. But there is a bit of, you see there's like a line in it, right, like almost above the eyes. Really hard to see on the paler backgrounds. It almost disappears. So if you plan on using this in a lighter background, do know that it is hard to see. I mean, you can definitely see the black stars now. Yeah, it's just one of those things that is best used in a darker scene so that you can fully see it. And here's our Luck Clover contacts. They're super vibrant green with little clovers spinning inside in opposite directions. They are super adorable. And here's our Rose Constel contacts. Like I said before, I use these so much. It's insane. They are so pretty. They have the rose on the inside, the vines that wrap around the iris, and the shooting out gold petals. And I just love them so much. They go with all of my fits because I use black and red and gold so much that these are kind of like a super staple to me. And here's our facial paint, 1,000 threads. A very pretty facial paint with gold and silver lining the face like lines. And here's Dragon Growl. It is just kind of like a dragon tattoo on the side of your face. It makes me think of that one movie where they're in Vegas or whatever. I cannot, Hangover maybe, where he gets the Mike Tyson tattoo. It did remind me of that a little bit. And here's our lipstick, Rose Nightmare. It does come with 3 colors: First Kiss, Forecast, and Night Talk. Now, unfortunately, every time that you do go in here, you do have to, if you want this solid color, you do need to go into overlay. There's no option to have no overlay. So it keeps changing. Why does it do that? Hold on. All right, something's going on. Am I crazy? Save dying. Switch here. Save dying. Go back. Why is it doing that? That's really weird. This lipstick is bugged out right now. Okay, so it's saved at that one. Let's switch it. Save it. Yeah, okay, so I'm not going to be able to showcase this one too much because it keeps autoing into Forecast for some reason. I'm not sure what's going on with that, but I will do just these 2 colors for now. So here's your second dye slot, all the way up and all the way down, and your third dye slot down and all the way up. Alright, and for Elf Kiss, you also get 4 slots, but again, the first slot is messing up. If I switch it to the third one and I save it, it saves just fine, but if I switch it to Snow Rose, it auto saves to the second dye slot. And again, this one has an overlay where you don't have the option to not have one, so you will have to go in and make sure you are changing your overlay so that everything is the actual color you want it to be. Second slot up and all the way down, third slot down and all the way up, fourth slot up and all the way down. And here's the Pose Breezy Talk that I got. I do really like this one. She has closed eyes that are fully closed, and in the beginning we didn't really get too many poses where the eyes were actually closed, so I really liked this. I don't ever put a right hand handheld on her hand because it does— ooh, why'd she open her eyes? Oh, she's blinking. She's moving on her own. Alright, autonomy. It does look like she's just sniffing her armpit in this one, so I don't ever really use it with a handheld. Unless it is a left hand handheld, and then I will use that one. I don't know why she started looking around on her own. And here's the expression. So it is just a closed eye expression, which now we have plenty of. So if you aren't interested in the expression or the pose, don't worry about it. But that is everything for the Guardian Cutie light chase. I hope you found this helpful and useful in deciding if you would like to pull on it or save your diamonds for something else. I will talk to you later. Bye bye.